Hello and good evening. My name is John. We're here playing Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. It's part of my Steam cleaning series. I go through every game in my Steam library eventually, then arbitrarily rate and or review them after a wee bit of playtime. Now, I don't quite know what this game is. I know what Vampire the Masquerade is because I was an angsty teenager, so of course I know what Vampire is. I don't know what Coteries of the New Yorks is. I'm assuming it's a visual novel? I mean, Vampire Bloodlines is not this game, so we'll see. New game. Empty. Oh, I can be a Bruja, a Ventru, or a Troador. Oh man, I can choose my character. Let's be a Ventru. Amanda. It's a visual novel. New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was a human, I would have told you it's just superstitious BS, that we are all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not the face you could have seen in the papers of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened the very same place you're standing right now, by the way. Fate, you decide. Huh? Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was never to see its glow again. I mean, you can look at the sun, just don't get the sun on you. Like, it's not, I mean, okay. I was incandescent myself. I was hot stuff. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and an Xbox One X. Spark in my eye, the one thing you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred, just like you, an apex predator. You probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look around some loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Why, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate, a message saying, you're eternally doomed to be at my mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers. I'm not sure that needs a apostrophe or not. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. ... You might have wondered how I learned about your arrival at JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today would happen to be the day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for that. But it's so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you saw the meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it's precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust did the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy asking you to breach the rules of our society like this, the Masquerade. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York. Starting with our position, and I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. Right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. I use a Mac. Got a nice picture of whatever that is. Still raining. It's nice. I mean, this is a visual novel, but they have some ambient animations, which really does bring this to life a little bit. Your phone rings. It's your boss. Again. The setting sun that filled your high-rise office an hour ago is gone. The city looks like an ocean of light up from up here, spreading for miles to the north. You pick up. You're about to call it a day. Forget about the world of fintech, makers of fish technology, and depress at home. No dice. D10s or any otherwise. One of the investor wants to meet you. His voice as always perfect. Yeah, his voice as always, the perfect mix of authority and sleaze. They'll come by your office in an hour. You look at a clock. The clock, even. An hour? You gotta be kidding. Yeah, I know, but stick around. He's a heavyweight. You'll want to make a good impression. Fine, you grit your teeth a little. The boss hangs up. 2 hours. Wait, 2 hours? I said 1 hour. Oh, that's... dictionary. That's handy. In an hour. I mean, I guess maybe your meeting's an hour long? Might as well pour another coffee into yourself and figure out how best to use this to your advantage. You suspect everyone knows that's a no. You're not actually happy with your current position. That, in fact, you feel squished against the glass ceiling that comes with the territory. Sure, your idiot superior might have gotten the job only because he's the CEO's golfing buddy, but you're going to put an unholy amount of work into your advancement. Times were, you laugh off the idea of staying at the office until 9 p.m. You had a partner to go home to in the night, the Netflix and chill ritual perform. Huh, topical. Complete with pizza and or Chinese tea. No, that's not what Netflix... Ever since you moved up the ladder, though, your hours have only gotten longer. Food, mostly at your company cafeteria. Sometimes takeout, always in a rush. You praise the heavens for your crazy metabolism and dread the day it finally decides to give up. Rest? At this point, the clean lady who takes care of your apartment probably spends more time in your bedroom than you do. You flash back to your boss quoting Shakespeare to impress his new, extremely attractive, uncomfortably young secretary. For some must watch while some much sleep, so runs the world away. Drinks? Mostly with colleagues, and they all pretty much hate you at this point. Another flashback. You know, sometimes with the flashback, you could just show the flashback. This time for the most profitable quarter in the company's history. Still, the board decided that layoffs were in order. Your boss didn't feel like letting people know in person, so he passed the privilege on to you. Gotta hand it to him. He always knows how to pick his battles. Maybe, just maybe, tonight is the night it's all going to change. You decide to play the good looks angle. Nothing too slutty. You leave your blouse slightly unbuttoned. Check if your ass looks good, and remember as you remembered in your pencil skirt. Mirror says yes. Not something you're proud of, but you become too jaded to care. Knowing your luck, the investor's gonna be one of two types: the self-obsessed Elon Musk, wannabe in his 20s, or a fat old pervert drenched in cologne. You hear the elevator ding. That was a fast hour. Time to get the show on the road. You take one final look in the mirror and fix your hair as the footsteps echo across the empty hallway. The man who approaches your office is not what you expected. He's slick, to be sure. He comes with his own music cue, but he seems a bit more refined than your usual company man. Expensive suit, matching tie and shirt. Confident in his stride. Surprisingly good looking. No. Good evening. I hope this unforeseen visit isn't too much of an inconvenience. God, that voice. You're taken aback by how smooth and strong it is, and his eyes, steel blue, cold, intense. He's all business, professional, treats you in a manner that is appropriate to your stature. When he speaks, he actually looks you in the eye and nods your cleavage. He asks some questions about your work, tells you how he's noticed your input after talking to the CEO, another golfing buddy, and comes charmingly close to calling your boss an incompetent doofus. All the while, you try to guess his accent, but you can't quite place it. European? Sure, but where? Transylvania? I know I've been keeping you long enough, but would you indulge me and join me for a drink of your blood? Of course. For a minute there seems like he wasn't that kind of guy. What the hell, you go with it. He seems nice enough. Besides, it's not like you have other plans. A little jazzy music there. The investor has a limo waiting downstairs, and the driver takes you to a high-end restaurant in Williamsburg. A seat is waiting for you in the Lux Lounge, just the two of you. You talk about this and that. Your companion seems to have a knack for history. So, tell me, what do you do if you had full control of the company? It was choking your wine. This is your chance. You say what's been on your mind for months, but hide it behind a veneer of professional corporate battle. Refocusing, listening to your instincts for once, restructuring, kicking out your boss, aggressively pursuing new markets, getting the hell away from those horrible people. He likes the sound of that. He leans forward, his eye flashes with intensity, and something else. A strange emotion that wasn't there before. You'll do just fine. His words echo inside your head as you black out. You wake up. God only knows how much later. You try to piece together what happened. You hear a familiar voice. The investor, whoever the hell he is talking to someone. You suddenly recall snippets, fragments, memories. His sapphire eyes intently locked with yours. His teeth suddenly longer and sharper. And something else. A feeling on your neck that takes you back to your last orgasm. A company trip to Florida. A sweaty room. A cutie from HR who doesn't work there anymore. And then darkness. Yes, I'm done here. Consider my debt paid. The investor pushes the other figure aside and walks away from the lounge, barely bothering to look at you. The door locks behind him. Some time passes before you find the strength to get from the couch. You touch your lips. Blood. Did that asshole hit you? You try to stand up, but your head is pounding and your stomach is like a heavy knot pulling you down. You didn't have that much to drink. You must have spiked your wine. This is bad. You frantically check your clothes. Pristine. Doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden, the feeling hits you like unlike anything you ever felt before. You fall to the floor, writhing in all-encompassing pain and hunger. The kind that makes your insides burn. That cannot be denied. You try to calm yourself down with breathing exercise. They taught you in some BS mindfulness course. That's when it hits you. You're not breathing. Holy crap. Is your heart be jumping out of your chest with that realization? But it's not moving. Not even a beat. The door unlocks. You hear a startled voice. A young man in a waiter's office, his accent thick with East European harshness. He leans over and asks if you're alright. For a brief moment, you wonder what the hell's going on here. Everything is wrong. Then his smell reaches your nostrils. It's intoxicating. Everything feels right again. He holds out his arm to help you stand up. You grab it firmly with both hands, then you bite down, sink your teeth next to the old-school pin-up tattoo of Rita Hayworth on his forearm. It takes you a moment to process what you're doing. A part of you wants to break away, but the stronger voice implores you to keep drinking. One thing becomes clear. You are definitely enjoying this. He only struggles a little and quickly falls to his knees. You can see his eyes now, pale blue and confused. You only bring yourself to let him go once he collapses onto the floor. Your bite leaves a mess on his forearm. Poor Rita. All bloody, missing half her face. Did you just drink this guy's blood? ... You spit out a piece of torn flesh. That's a... Why? Where? What was in that effing wine? Barely able to focus, your heart and lungs still motionless. You reach your phone and dial 911. I mean, your lungs would still work. I have to assume... It's been about 20 years since I played Vampire. I have to assume your lungs still work, otherwise you wouldn't be able to talk, because you need air to go over your vocal cords to talk. But maybe you're a magic projecting... I don't know. Operator. 911 operator, what's your emergency? Killed someone. I killed someone. I think I just killed someone. Ma'am, I need you to stay calm. Where are you right now? The door to the lounge was open. The man enters. Is not the one who brought you here, though there are similarities. He's tall for one, broad-shouldered, handsome, dressed in an immaculate suit, but the skin is darker, and look in his face tells you he's not here to negotiate a deal. He knows the smartphone in your hand. Pass me the phone if you want to live. The man's voice is persuasive, calm, but carrying a clear thread. He's got the aura of this viciously efficient corporate shark. You find it hard to argue with him. Ma'am, hello? I apologize for wasting your time. My new colleague got drunk and is now trying to impress everyone with her antics. Good night. That's a crime you just committed. I mean, plus the murder. He disconnected the call and places your phone in his pocket. For whatever reason, you can barely take your eyes off the stranger. As hypnotizing as his presence, though, is also highly comforting. Good evening, miss. I'm here to pick you up. Call an ambulance. Please, you need to call an ambulance. Someone else is taking care of that. Stranger approaches the waiter and examines his body. Critical condition, but he might live. Anyway. He sets his sights on you. I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you. And going by experience, they tend to fall into two categories. First, they're the smart ones who carefully obey my every words and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them where they need to be, safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guys who try to contact someone secretly without permission. Troublemakers who try to run off and make a scene. None of them got to their destinations one piece. In fact, most of them never reached their destination at all. His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given the speech before, likely dozens of times. So you see, while I generally consider myself pretty smart, I'm also a Mets fan. It's one of my one true weakness. One that inspired me to come up with 3 strike systems when dealing with pups like you. You get on my nerves once or twice, well I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. But cross me 3 times and you're out. No excuses, no forgiveness, no mercy. As he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually, he leans in, desperately invading your personal space. You realize it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. 3 strikes and you're out. Say, I understand, sir, now. Every atom of your being screams for you to obey his authority. I understand, sir. I understand, sir. Stick to that tone and you'll do just fine. Moving on, is there anyone you want to inform of your current situation and tell them that you're alright? He flashes his fangs briefly, and for some reason the sight sends a chill down your spine. There's something very wrong about him. Someone close to you? I don't know, I don't have anyone anymore. The stranger squints at you. No family? No liver? No friends? Nothing? A job. Your blank stare tells him the whole story. He immediately stops prying and gives you something even worse to look at, of pity. A look of hopeless, honest compassion. Well, that makes things simpler, but let me be crystal clear just in case. From this point on, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up under. You will be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anyone know you're still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over for both you and them. Now practice tone again. Put your poker face on and listen in silence. So unless you want your boss to end up at the bottom of the Hudson, I suggest you cooperate. Don't tempt me. He smiles, revealing his fangs again. Something absolutely sickening about it. Suddenly you feel overwhelmed by a sense of exhaustion. You pass out. Man, you pass out a lot. When you regain your senses, you find yourself in the stranger's arms, the man holding you as you would a spouse who has had a little too much to drink. Try to break free, but he holds you close and gives you a cautioning look. Only when you see struggling does he let you go. Only now do you notice a change in scenery. You find yourself at a fancy lobby right next to the elevator. The place is virtually empty, save for a single concierge and some cleaning staff. That's not, your companion gestures at the concierge as you pass. He picks up the phone. The elevator arrives. The door opens. The man motions towards the cabin. After you. Where are we going? To a safe place. That's all you need to know. Trust me, you don't want to make things difficult. Just get in. Going against your instincts, you enter the cabin. Smooth jazz is playing over the speakers, and the elevator starts its descent. You are dazed, panicky, but somehow locked in place. On one hand, you find the stranger present oddly soothing. On the other hand, you can feel your body tensing up with stress. You can't help but think back to the young waiter, the doe-eyed look on his face, the confused look he gave you just before. No, it's better not to think about it. Plus, you have other things to worry about, like the fact that you're being kidnapped. Cabin door opens to the same garage you arrived at in Investor some hours ago. The man shows you the back of a Cadillac Escalade, not pictured here. I know what you're thinking. Getting into a car with some strange man? Boy, sure seems like a dumb idea. Maybe I can make a run for it. I might be able to lose him. So let me be perfectly clear. Your best bet is to get in, relax, and enjoy the ride. What do you want? What do you want from me? You meet your new superiors, you'll see. Superiors? Sorry. Superiors. Is that what hostile takeout looks like nowadays? No more questions. Get in the car, please. Seems like the worst idea ever, but the man's made it very clear that you have no choice in the matter. What's your name? Can I at least know your name? You'll know it when the time is right. Basic glance at the expensive-looking watch. Listen, you really need to quit stalling. We're on a bit of a schedule here. The sun comes up in about 2 hours, and I don't intend to be here when it does. I have done nothing but behave. Look, I just want to know what this is about. Then wait until tomorrow. He opens the car door and gestures towards it. You see no point in delaying the inevitable, so you get in. The door locks behind you. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without another word. Did I die? Depends on your definition of death. Listen, I realize you have many questions. Tomorrow you'll get some answers, but tonight you need to do what I say. And right now, I need some quiet, please. You feel too confused to protest. You stay silent for the rest of the ride. Even as more questions bubble up at the surface, one of them being, did you actually kill someone tonight? Staring out the window, you find it hard to focus, quickly lose track of where you're headed. You can only tell that you haven't left Manhattan. Another underground parking, almost featureless, empty. Featureless, empty. The car stops and the man opens the door for you. We're here. The stranger walks to a nearby door. He opens it and motions you to get in. Go on in. Make yourself comfortable. If you get hungry again, take a look in the fridge. I'll pick you up tomorrow and you'll get your answers. Behind the door is a small room, no windows, a simple bed, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. A small fridge is humming away in the corner, accompanied by a rattling AC and the fan in the wall. You're leaving here? That's it? You're just gonna leave me here? That's it, for now at least. Look, this room is your best chance of seeing another night. I realize you've been put in a problematic situation, and it's not entirely your fault. Cooperate and you might still make it. You will learn more tomorrow, but for time being, get in and get cozy. He gestures inside the room. Step into the room. You step inside the room, the stranger nods. Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very sturdy. Open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there filled with red liquid. No label. Tomato soup? No. You feel sick to your stomach. Best to leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame. At least it's not too filthy. Think back to how this evening began. This investor is friends. Is he friends with the dark-skinned stranger who picked you up from the restaurant? What happens now? Unable to relax, you spend an hour or so playing out various scenarios in your head. Eventually you decide to give in and let exhaustion take over. Okay. You're undead and you don't breathe and don't have a heartbeat and don't have a real metabolism. How do you get tired? Whatever tomorrow brings, again, I think it's just magic. It's vampire magic. You'd rather face it well rested. Plus, there's no way in hell your boss isn't going to notice your absence tomorrow. Then and maybe some of the restaurant staff will feel paying a conscience. Someone will notify the police, someone will find you, right? You flash back to the waiter's tattoo. The bloody Rita Hayward winking at you over a pale mess of a wound. You did this. You bit him. You drank his blood, and it tasted good. What if you never go home again? You were so tired, your entire body tenses up one last time. Before you know it, you drift away into oblivion. You wake up. That in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It doesn't feel like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels like. The room is then changed. The lamp is still on, the AC is still rattling, the refrigerator is still humming. You take a look at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. You slept for 17 hours straight. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone, you feel no thumping in your chest. Is that qualified as dead if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you're certainly one thing. You are hungry. Not your stomach grumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back ahead. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look. It's soup, then its color and texture are off. You put a cork out and take a whiff. You recognize the smell immediately. Holy crap. I was mistaken. This is bag blood. The smell is faint. You remember some situation in the past where you found it nauseating, but now it's almost... No, not almost. It is enticing. Drink the blood? It feels wrong, but right now there's barely anything in your life that doesn't. Tell with it. You pour a bit of liquid into your mouth. It tastes like crap. It's coppery, thick, and clings to your tongue inside your mouth like a film of dirt. Swallow hard regardless. The taste is foul, but somehow you kind of want more. Take a second sip, suck in the bottom of the bag. You feel something pull on your insides. You double over. You're going to barf. You instinctively cover your mouth looking for a place to vomit. Before you find it, a dark red wave washes over your hands and fingers, hits the floor, splattering in huge thick drops. Keep heaving for more long. Nothing's coming out. Not blood, not bile, not even spit. But something in your body wants to push it out. Push it all out. Every last drop. As you recover, trying to wipe droplets of regurgitated blood from your dress, you hear the lock click and see the door open. Staying there is a well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, the predatory look. Like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So like a tamed hawk, maybe. Good evening. How was... You notice his batter, your red hand, sick look on your face. He barely contains a smirk. Oh, was the catering unable to satisfy your exquisite taste? Apologies. Offer him a drink. You can't tell me you can drink this. He takes the bag off your hand and pours it all of his contents in his mouth. He closes his eye, theatrically savoring the taste. When he opens it a few seconds later, he looks sharper, energized. Not all of us are picky eaters. Come on, we got places to be. I should have some water and towel back in the back of the car so you clean yourself up. You can't get blood out with just water. Car is humming in the empty parking lot just outside the door of the cramped room you spent the entire day in. Man motions to it politely, but with a stern look on his face. Hijack the car. Get in the car. Not like I have a choice, right? Correct, but your cooperation is appreciated nonetheless. Take the back seat again. The door is locked. The stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. You drive in silence for a while. From time to time, you keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets and landmarks. With blackened windows, it's of little use. The car is almost soundproof, so all you can hear is a bit of traffic humming in the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. Check the door handle. Yeah, it's locked all right. The piece of dark glass separating you from the front of the car looks sturdy too. I don't really see it here, but I guess nothing to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize now that you're hungry? No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen that spreads to your chest. Didn't we already have this line? Throat and back ahead. You become restless. It's essentially kidnapping. Whatever this guy says about its purpose, it doesn't change the fact you've been held against your will and you're not used to following orders. You can't delegate them to someone else. You feel a need to get a semblance of control over the situation. You decide to prove yourself useful. Listen, I'm an investment advisor and I have a lot of experience in fintech. Whatever your organization is, it might find use for me. I don't even have any idea what fintech is, and honestly, I don't care to find out. A short pause. I'll be frank. Currently in no position to offer anybody anything. The sooner you accept that, the better. Like, why am I being so negative here? I mean, I guess that's... Call him a nobody. Curse him out. Lack of ambition. Big words from someone who's dedicated to errand board. I wonder if you'll ever achieve anything. Push the right buttons. He gives you absolutely furious stare at the rear view mirror. For a second, you spot a crack in his special mirror. You don't know anything about me. You have no idea where I'm coming from or where I'm headed. For a few seconds, he quietly fumes. Your attitude won't make you any friends, and in your current position, you definitely need some. Consider that, preferably in silence. A dull hunger strikes again. The powerlessness hurts. You are used to people listening to you, or pretending to care about your demands at least. The driver doesn't play that game, and it annoys you to no end. Oh, little passing car animation? Yeah, taxis. It takes you another 20 minutes or so to get to your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe. After me. No sudden movements, please. You approach a nice-looking building that houses a 2-story gallery called the Art Hole. 2 large men in suits flank the door on both sides and give you and your companion nods as you approach. Prompted by the stranger guiding you, you walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour, to say the least. About 24 faces in the showroom, a number of waiters navigating the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guest's attention. Visitors are well dressed for the most part, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, or the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. See open content for a few faces and animated interest in others. Most of the eyes in the rooms are calmly observe you, as if wishing to appraise your worth. This reminds you of your company meetings. You, the only woman in the room, silently judged not on her merits, but her standing on the list passed in clandestine email threads with your male coworkers. Well, HR found out, that is. Not the most pleasant experience, but there's no denying it. It taught you resilience. When others would cower, you straightened up. When others would turn their gaze, met their eyes of the gallery's guests with confidence. The woman. Good evening, Kadir. And to you, child. Must be the guy's name. The noble, cold voice takes you out of your own head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery. A crowd of strangers. You are being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Good evening, Miss... You are addressing the Prince of New York City, Helene Panhard, Hilda of Michaela. Thank you, my sheriff, but I'm capable of inducing myself. She is somewhat plain-looking, doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still, the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people. That much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction into unlife was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate to punish you both for this transgression. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathering audience. But I'm willing to listen to what a loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. Remain silent. You decide it's best to stay silent, listen to the whole situation unfold. It feels like you're out of your depth here. Shall we begin? You're about to be judged by the court of New York City. Kadir? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Please tell us how you found this fledgling and what happened on your way here. Court Prince? Is this kind of secret society make-believe? I have a sneeze. I don't know if it'll come out. A trusted informant who has chosen to remain anonymous at this time tipped me off of a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our dormant domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. The reservation made in a private lounge of the patrician suggests this one's sire had plenty of resources to spend. However, they are apparently also well connected. I lost track of them. Despite some reservations, she offered little resistance last night and cooperated on our way to the safe house. I was pleased to not have to force her to her compliance. Opening the door of the safe house last night was greeted by almost a disturbing sight of her drenched and regurgitated blood. Apparently the bag supply we kept in the fridge was not to her liking. The remark elicits a contemptuous chuckle from one of the gathering guests as they note the remains and blood on your skirt. It was not an elegant sight, but hardly a matter, I suppose. Moving on. We had a quick chat, but wishing to appear post-haste, I urged her to join me, which she did without struggle. A pleasant departure from my usual routine, I must say. During our drive here, she showed me her fangs, metaphorically speaking, posturing as if we were equals, insulting me when that didn't work. I refrained from causing her physical harm, but I expect her ego might still be a bit bruised. She looks at you and flashes you a nasty smile. Story ends with us arriving at Asylum tonight. All your eyes are on you again. You take special interest in one of their faces. Beautiful woman, curly, almost blood-red hair, and dressed to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with absent-minded look on his face. Who is she? Thank you, Kadir. I'll take note of fledgling behavior and take into consideration later. He turns her attention to you. First, there's a matter of your sire. The person who brought you were Kadir picked up from last night. Who were they? A handsome businessman. An entrepreneur. An acquaintance of my boss, I think. Good-looking, pale blue eyes, some gray in his hair, charming, abusive, cold son of a bee. You feel tired and angry. This whole situation, spending the day in some underground parking lot, having to bear looks of a room full of strangers, almost too much to take in stride. There's no reason you should take it in stride, but you do because there's one thing your professional career has taught you, is that. All because of this a-hole, whoever he was, not even giving you a name or a card or nothing. Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not. Or at least not familiar enough. I will continue this search after we're done here. Talk to someone at the restaurant. The man, he talked to someone at the restaurant before he left. I can't remember what he said, but he wasn't alone. Maybe that's the lead you can follow. Idiot now. That's interesting. I do hope the proprietor won't be mad at us for losing one of his staff. It's almost like he knows the waiter's fate is still bothering you and takes pleasure in pointing it out. Thank you for that observation. I will investigate it later. What should I do with my fledgling? With the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, sir? Traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another, thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am ready to fulfill my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my counsel on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom and a handful of people follow her out. You're about to ask Kadir what else to talk about traditions and council was. Then the red-haired woman approaches it. Sophie? Sophie. Does this have like a pause option? Still no dictionary. Save and exit. This has been Vampire the Masquerade. Coteries in New York. For a new game. I just want to see what's different. Okay. So far, this is about the same. Alright, so this is very different. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, this is Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York. I think it's a pretty decent visual novel. I mean, you have to have any interest at all in the Vampire the Masquerade lore and, you know, stylings, but I think it's reasonably well written, a bit sweary, but yeah, seems pretty cool. Cheers.